It's that time again. Let's have a chat. So we're back again with Steve Robb, and today Steve and I are going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about your tools, Steve. So you have a big collection of tools. We've seen a lot of them on the channel, and I'm really curious, why did you acquire these tools? You were never an automotive technician, but you seem to have a lot of technicians' tools. You have a lot of even tools that technicians don't have. You have welders and presses and all kinds of stuff. So tell us, what was the motivation behind that?
Well, I would say the whole motivation is having more money than brains. That's probably the first thing. Some people collect tools. Some people collect tools that don't know how to use them. I like to collect the tools and learn how to use them, whether it's a welder or whether, like, I have a TIG welder, I have an arc welder, I have gas welding. And I found it was a great challenge to buy the tools, learn how to use them, whether it's my Pico oscilloscope or scan tools, that kind of thing. I think it's just fantastic that you can learn how to fix your own stuff yourself. And it pays in the long run, I feel, to buy the tools, learn how to use them, fix your stuff yourself.
Oh, that's great. And you actually put these tools to use. I mean, it's not like you have a collection that just sits there and collects dust. You actually, we see on your channel that you have a property up north. You have a camp that's an off-the-grid system, and you do all the repairs there.
Yes, I built the place right from scratch, right from the beginning all the way up. And you do have to acquire some tools to be able to do some things. Especially amp clamps, meters, and like you said, you have to have like a good multimeter. You have to have amp clamps, battery testing equipment. And what I find is a good challenge is to buy the equipment and figure out how to use it. And that's the best part about buying tools.
Now, what's the learning curve like? So, like I said before, you weren't an automotive technician. You weren't like an industrial guy. You worked in assembly. For General Motors.
Yes.
So, like, what's the learning curve like for someone who wasn't formerly what's the learning curve like for someone who wasn't formally taught in school how to use these tools?
It's a real learning curve, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people, like you say, on YouTube that will teach you how to use different tools in different ways. And what I found was, especially the hardest part for me was using an oscilloscope. And I went with the picoscope. I have a lot of fun with that. I've checked my vehicles out 40 different ways plus, trying to figure out how to test a crank sensor, a cam sensor, and trying to duplicate what I see on different channels doing on how to fix anything automotive. And for me, it's a challenge, and I enjoy it. And it's like everything else, it's a hobby. And it has to be a hobby if you enjoy it.
Right. And sometimes you get that information and you're like, well, I've got all this data from what's going on in my car. And then you look at it and go, what does that mean?
That's true.
What does that even mean? So, there's definitely a skill to the automotive trade. But you don't just have automotive tools. You have all kinds of tools. One actually that was notable that really inspired me was your arbor press.
Yes.
And that one you built yourself.
I built that myself out of a do-it-yourself magazine, and it showed the the blueprints on how to build it. And that was the first project I ever built welding. I bought a 225 volt buzz box, this Lincoln Electric buzz box, and I just got into it, learned how to weld. And at the time, there was no YouTube. YouTube wasn't invented then. This has to be many years ago, before even the internet. And we did things by books. And I just did my best. I read a lot of articles on how to weld and jumped right in with both feet. And actually, that's the best thing you could do.
It's a lot of gabbing before you actually make something, isn't it?
Yes, it actually is. And, I've had that now for so many years, and I've used it so many times. I've never seen an actual one on any other buddy's YouTube channel or a picture of it or anybody. I don't know how many people ever built one of these, but I built it and I use it all the time.
Well, you've inspired me, and you sent me the blueprint, so I think I'm going to put one together because that thing is fantastic.
Yes, and it's so simple and it's so powerful. I bend steel with it. I do universal joints. It's just a fantastic little arbor press. Doesn't take too much.
So, sorry about that. We had a connection issue. Steve was just explaining about the arbor press and how handy it is to have around.
Yes, I would say you pretty much have to have an arbor press in a shop to do universal joints. I use it for like bending metal. I use it to press different sleeves in, or it comes in handy for a lot of things when you're operating, in your shop by yourself and there's nobody else around to give you a hand to do something. It comes in a real handy tool.
Yeah, what I like about it the most is it's compact, and it doesn't look like it takes up as much space as a 2-post press.
Yes, and you don't get a lot of these presses that you see that have the 2-post press with a bottle jack on it. A lot of times when you're getting close to where you want to be, all of a sudden, bang! It explodes on you. Right?
Well, that's why they come with a cage. Everyone throws the cage out when they buy them.
That's right. But this one, you could actually use the bottle jack, or physically use your hand to lower it a bit at a time and use it your own physical strength, to press something in where you want to have a little bit more of a feel.
So would you say, as a whole, all the tools that you've invested your money in have been worth it?
I would say when you're paying $100 an hour for somebody else to do work for you, it pays to buy the tools, learn how to use them, and have a lot of fun.
Great, Steve. So next time we talk to you, Steve, we're going to be talking about auto repair channels. This is something that you specialize on your channel talking about. So tune in next time, guys, when we talk with Steve about automotive repair videos on YouTube. Perfect.
Beautiful. I got time for a beer?